Okay, so what we have been what we have studied yesterday, async task, right? Okay, so what is an async task? What is an async task? It is an intelligent thread basically, na? So which can work for both. I mean, it will work for your main thread also, it will work for background thread also. So what are the callbacks which we are having in async task? What are the callbacks? Tell me. On pre-execute. Then from here where we will go to do in background. From here what we can do? We can do publish progress. If you want to show some progress, 10, 20, 30, right? So publish progress. Automatically where the callback will go? On progress update. Okay, and as soon as your task is over, on post execute. On post execute is the callback. So on post execute is the callback which comes. Okay, yeah. Now if I'll do cancel, then what will happen? On cancel. Okay, so it will call on cancel. Okay, very simple. Now people will ask, I mean, which callback will run in which thread? So tell me, do in background, where it will run? Main thread or background thread? Background thread. Okay, where publish progress will run? Background thread. And all the other things will run in your main thread. Okay, so because and can we do UI operation in UI operation in main thread? Yes, we should do in main thread only. But can you do in background thread? No. I mean, if you try to do that, what will happen? It will give you a runtime exception. What is the one? Illegal thread invocation exception. And if you want to do some UI operation from background thread, how will you do? Run on UI thread. That is the method which we execute. I mean, from wherever you want to do. Okay. Yes, I think this much only we have done. Okay. Yeah. Now from this again, one small question. I mean, what are the three generics which we pass here? What is it? First one is your task. I mean, task data type. I mean, the task data which you are giving. Okay. Then what is the second data type? Second will be your progress. And what is the last one? Result. So these are the three data types which we pass over there. Okay. And yeah, there are two more questions which are asked. Okay, from this async task chapter. So which you should know. So second question is these questions which I have already discussed. One more question, let's try to discuss it. Okay, so how to do exception handling in async task. Okay, this is one of the questions which is very frequently asked in interview. So what is the question? How to do exception handling in async task? Got it, right? Because we know, I mean, async task will have main thread, background thread, both types, right? So now you want to handle the exception. If some exceptions are there, then how will you handle basically? Suppose something is happening in doing background where all the expensive tasks are getting done, and what you want to do? You want to handle that. Some exceptions got thrown. Maybe network not available or internet connection is not there. You don't know. I mean, there are many sort of exceptions, right? So how to handle it? So how to handle it is very simple. How to handle it here is, I mean, so typically, I mean, doing background is the place where we do expensive tasks. So this block of code might return some sort of exception. Okay, so how to do the exception handling here? What to do? We will write try catch. Okay, so what to do? Here we can select this alt insert, right, to make it try catch. Alt insert or name. What was the shortcut? Do you remember? Where is our shortcut?
Control
E. T, correct. You're right. Alt control T. Okay, alt control T. You want to put it inside try catch only. So we should always do this. So now if you want to handle this exception, how will you handle it? From here, from catch statement, what you can do? You can do something like return. Okay, and what you are returning? You are returning some sort of result. We are returning as a part of long, right? So we will have some sort of code, something like 100L. Got it, right? So whenever some exceptions will be thrown from your do in background or any method, what you do, you are returning 100L. Now you can check this particular thing in your on post execute. Okay, so here what you can do, you can something like if a long is equal to 100L. So when this condition, this if condition will be executed whenever there will be some exception. Got it, right? So from here what you are doing, whenever exceptions are there, you are doing return 100L. Now you can catch this particular 100L where in your on post execute using this particular long. So in this case we are having long, so only we are catching it like this. Okay. If you are having a string, then automatically you have to do something like return failure. Okay, and here also string will be there. You can check it. If that dot equals failure, then there is some exception. Okay, so here you can write something like toast. Okay, and you can make it some exception is thrown. You can do like this. This is very typical question. That's why I told you. Okay, so whenever you want to handle exception in your async task inside do in background, what you should do, you can return, then you pass the return type what you are having, result type basically. Okay, and you can catch it in your on post execute and you handle however you want to do. Any doubt over there? No, simple means. Okay, so this is your, this is one of the question which is asked. Now the last question which is very frequently asked in async task, okay, is what are drawbacks of async task. What are the drawbacks of async task? Okay, so from async task, 3 typical question. What we told about 3 parameter what we pass. Okay. Second question is how to do the exception handling, and third one is the drawbacks of async task. These are the 3 questions. Wherever you will go, you will get this question. These 3 only. So any idea what is the drawback of async task? Any idea? Okay, so let's try to understand. So from where we are starting the async task, from this button, right? We are doing execute. So automatically what will happen? Async task will be started and it will run in background. This will run in background. Now suddenly what happened? Suppose this activity has started async task. Okay, so it is running in background. It will keep on running, right? Okay. Now suddenly suppose after starting async task, what you have done, you have gone from this screen to another screen. Okay, and this activity is no more valid now. Are you able to understand what I am telling is? So after starting async task, what you have done, you have moved from one screen to another screen. Okay, now async task, to whom he will return result to? He will return to your first screen, right? Because he does not know about the second screen. Now he will return, async task will return result to your first screen, and first screen is not available in your, wherever you are working with your mobile. Then what will happen? There is some problem, right? Got what is the problem? You will get it. Okay, so that's why async task is having this problem. So that time you will get illegal argument exception. Got it, right? So what we want to say is, okay, so what is the drawback of async task? If we start the async task from one activity. Okay, we will start async task from one activity, and and after that we might move to some other activity. I mean second screen you can think about it. Okay? After starting async task we might move to some other screen. Okay, but this changing of activity okay, so what we can say here is async task will be unaware of this changing of activity. Got it, right? Async task will not be knowing, I mean, this changing of activity. Okay, so it will send the result to previous activity. Okay, which is no more present. Got it, right? This is a problem. Because you start the async task, now what happened? Who started, he is not there. Now how we will get the result? Got it, right? So in this case, async, what is the exception we will get? We will get illegal argument exception. Okay, so it will pass some argument which will not be there, so it will throw this illegal argument exception. So that's why it is best practice to use fragment. Okay, which we'll see in further classes basically. So if you are working with fragment, then this problem will not come, because your activity will be remaining. I mean, it will not be killed. Okay, so that's why it's best practice to use fragment with async task. Okay, this is one of the problem which we get it. Okay, now second drawback means what is the problem in async task basically. Okay, so second problem is, okay, so async task leaks some memory. There is some memory leak which is there in your async task. Okay, so what is the memory leak? Memory leak means, I mean, it is wasting some memory. You have to do garbage collection, something like that. So it leaks some memory. Why? Because whenever you start the async task, okay, the async task will retain some instance of an activity from where it is starting. Okay, so that's why there is some memory leak. Okay, so memory leak, memory because of the activity instance present inside async task. Okay, so these are the two drawbacks of async task. Okay, so now how to, I mean, avoid these drawbacks? How to avoid these drawbacks? One way, what I told, we should use fragment, and the one which we talked about. Okay, Other way to avoid this drawback is try to understand. Okay, so whenever we will start the async task, whenever we will call execute, suddenly where it will go? It will go to on pre-execute. Okay, so we will go to on pre-execute. This is second way to avoid the problem. Okay, so whenever we go to on pre-execute, what to do? You can show a progress dialog to the user. Progress dialog means processing. So you show progress dialog. Got it, right? So now what happened? You are showing the progress dialog. Now user cannot change the activity. Got it, right? Because it is your on the top you are having progress dialog. As soon as async task has done his task, then he can change it. Then there will not be any problem of your earlier case which you talked about. Okay. So show the progress dialog. Okay. And what to do on post execute? What to do on post execute? What to do? Dismiss. What dismiss? Dismiss means closing your dialog basically. Dismiss the progress dialog. So this is one of the strategy which we apply. Then in between, user cannot change the activity. So he will be remaining in the same activity. So after post execute, if user will change the activity, there is no problem, because there is separate activity. Okay. This is one of those technique which we use to avoid the problem. Okay, and another technique which we use instead of async task, one good way is there called intent service. We will study this. We have not studied this, so this we will study. So intent service will remove all the drawbacks of async task. So this is one of the type of service which we will study. Okay, remove the drawback of async task. Okay, this one we will study when we do the service. Okay, so now hold on for time. Okay, let's start the other chapter which we are going to do. What is the chapter? What is the threading? Threading we will start later. Okay, so now tell me, which we have already done in core Java. Let's try to recap. Okay, so what is multi-threading? What is multi-thread? What is a thread? First of all, what is thread? A thread execution of process in execution. Process in execution is called thread. Okay, or you can say not process, program. Okay, so program will be the best word. Program in execution is called process. Okay, and now that process can have multiple threads basically. So program in execution is called process. Okay, and one process can have multiple threads basically. Okay, so typically now what is thread? Thread is nothing but we call this as a lightweight sub process. If somebody will ask what is a thread, thread is nothing but lightweight sub process. Okay, and it is also called unit of concurrent execution. Unit of concurrent execution. So thread is nothing but unit of concurrent execution. Okay, now we have already seen what is the difference in multi-processing and multi-threading, which is fast. Multi-threading is faster than multi-processing. Okay, why? Because multi-processing is heavyweight. Okay, so the cost of communication between the process is high than your between the threads. Okay, so I had already given the example. If we are communicating inside the room, so it is easier rather than communicating to the other room. Okay, so the other room communication is multi-processing. Multi-threading means you are communicating inside the same process, right? So it would be faster basically. Okay, so multi-threading will always be faster than your multi-processing. Okay. Yeah, now we have seen, I mean, this thing we have already done in core Java. Okay, now what are the states of your thread? Tell me. New, then runnable. Okay, runnable, then running. Okay, and on the top, what is there? Tell me. Sleep or blocked. Block. Okay, and your task is over. Then what is the state? Tell me. Destroyed. Destroyed or terminated. I mean, sometimes we tell this to terminated. Okay, so yeah, now there are two very famous problems which we get. What are those? Tell me. Force close and ANR. What is FC? Force close. When force close will come? When some exceptions are thrown. Okay, so it is very easy to handle. Just go and use try catch. You will be able to get rid of your force close. But how to avoid ANR? When ANR will come, if your main thread is busy in doing some expensive task, okay, so in that case it will not be responding to you basically. So in this case, what is it called? We call ANR. ANR means application not responding. Okay. Application not responding. Okay, so now when ANR will come, if our main thread is busy in doing some expensive task, it won't be responsive to us. If our main thread is busy in doing some expensive tasks, it will not want to be responsive to us. Okay, so there will be some threshold time set when we install operating system. Okay, whenever we install operating system, we set some threshold time basically. Okay, so suppose my threshold time is maybe 10 seconds. It will typically be 5 seconds. I am just giving you the example of 10 seconds. Okay, so suppose you clicked on any of the screen and you got the response before 10 seconds. Then what does this mean? This means okay, I mean keep on going. But if you don't get the response before 10 seconds, what does that mean? There is some problem. I mean your main thread is busy, very much busy. Yeah, that's why he is not responding to you. So in this case, what is the problem you will get? You will get ANR. Suddenly you will get the pop-up. Your application is not responding. Do you want to wait or close? So ANR will have two options. One is called wait. Okay, another is called close. Okay, but force close does not have two options. It has only one option. What is the option? Close. You don't have wait option in your force close. Okay, so that's why I mean ANR is always very dangerous. Okay, why? Because whenever any of the application will have ANR, then for that application we must have very deep analysis of the application. Then only you will be able to fix it, because you have to analyze thread. Okay, you have to get the thread dump from your wherever, from mobile or somewhere. Okay, you have to check which thread is creating problem. If it is creating problem, why? I mean you have to go to the root cause of it. Okay, and then you have to do maybe some cleanup of memory, or maybe the task which you are giving to the main thread is very heavy, so you have to have some background thread. So it would be typically ANR will be resolved by some sort of experienced people. Okay, force close is very simple. Go and use try catch, it would be resolved. Okay, but ANR is the toughest task in mobile technology. It's not about Android. You can go to iOS also. You will face this problem. Okay, very frequently. Sometimes in Facebook also, sometimes it will come now your application is not responding. Okay, so that is all are because of your ANR only. Okay, so now the thing is that how to avoid ANR. How to avoid ANR. Yeah. So what? How to avoid ANR? First thing is your multi-threading approach. So you should use multi-threading approach to avoid the ANR. Second approach, how to do that? Tell me. same thing as I told, I mean show progress dialog, then dismiss progress dialog. So if you are doing some expensive task, what will happen? Progress dialog will come. When it is over, then you can do the other task. Otherwise, you cannot do it. Then all the time, how many tasks will be done? One task only, right? So I mean, showing progress dialog will also help us here in this case. Okay. Now let's try to understand. I mean, how multi-threading approach. But there are three ways to do it. Okay. First way is your async task, which we have already done in the last class. Okay. Async task. This is one of the way. Okay. What is the second way? Using send message, which you are going to do today. Okay. And what is the third one? Using post. So these two will do today. This one we have already done. Yeah, so let me open this PPT. Now what is the difference between thread and process? Tell me. What difference in thread and process? Thread is called lightweight process. Okay. And one process can have many threads. Okay. And one thread will have only one process. It cannot run in multiple process basically. This is one of the difference. Okay. Yeah. Now let's go to, then we have already discussed what is deadlock also. So what is deadlock? If one thread is waiting for another thread to release the resource, and another thread is waiting for previous thread to release the resource. Okay. So they are in deadlock scenario. One is waiting for other is waiting for first one. Okay. So that is what it is. Now let's try to understand. Now let's which is first one? Let me check. Message. Okay. So send message approach. For multi-threading. Okay. Okay, so before going to this, let's try to understand what is handler. Okay, so what is handler? Okay, so handler is nothing but the class, okay, present in Android framework, which is responsible to get message or data from background thread. Okay, so what is a handler? Handler is a class which is responsible to get the message or data from your background thread. So suppose background thread wants to talk to your main thread, then how will it talk? You will talk to handler. Now tell me where handler runs. Handler runs in main thread. Then only your background thread will send message to your main thread, right? So where handler runs, it always runs in main thread. So where your handler runs, it runs in the main thread. Okay. Now can you do UI operation in handler? Handler? Yes, we can do. Why? Because it is running in main thread, right? So main thread means we can do the UI operation. Okay. So hence we can do UI operation here, because it is running in main thread. If it will run in background thread, then we can't do, okay, but it is running, so no problem at all. Okay, so you have to just understand this architecture, then you will be able to, do those, whatever thing we are going to do. Okay, so yeah, all the main thread will have this handler, try to understand. Okay, and whenever we want to start the thread, okay, so one background thread will be starting here. Okay, now background thread will obtain message. What is obtain message? Suppose if I want to watch movie, this Happy Bhagye, some movie came, okay, so I want to watch this movie in this multiplex. Then if I directly go and enter into the multiplex, will they allow me to watch the movie? No. What you need? You need ticket, right? So similarly here also, if any of the background thread they wants to talk to your main thread, then you have to get the ticket. Got it, right? So obtain message is the one which will help you out to get the token, basically. Got it, right? So now your background thread got the token, and after getting the token, if he wants to send the message to your main thread, then he will use one of the method called send message. What is the one? Send message. Got it, right? So first he will obtain the message what he wants to send, then send message. As soon as he will send the message, it will go to handler, and handler will have one of the method called handle message. What is the method name? Handle message, and he will handle it as simple as it is, basically. Okay, so how it happens in your sending messages, try to understand. Okay, suppose so handler will be there. Okay, handler will be here. Okay, it will have what method? Tell me. It will have a handle message. It will have a handle message here. Okay, and background thread will keep on running. Okay, it will keep on running here, and if this background thread wants to send some message to your handler. Okay, so first what he will do? He will do obtain message. If he does not have any message, he wants to just create the message from handler, then obtain message. So what obtain message will do? It will create some sort of message to send. Okay, for time being you can think it is a token. Okay, as soon as he will get the token, what will do? After getting this, what background thread will do? He will do send message. Send message to send the message to handler. Okay, so he will do send message, then what will happen? Automatically this message will go to handler. Okay, and handler will get the message in your handle message. So suppose if send message, if I'll do here, if I'll do hi, if I'll send hi, then what handle message will receive? It will receive hi. If I'll send here something like if I'll send hello, then what will happen? Your handle message will receive hello. So whatever message your background thread will send, your main thread will receive through handler. So handler is the only way from where your main thread can communicate from using your background thread. Okay, so background thread will communicate with main thread using handler. Okay, so let's try to do this very simple example. Okay, so suppose I'll come back to this. This thing. So see here, similarly handler will do handler. You will have this method handle message. Okay, this background thread is working now. Whenever you want to, sorry, what happened? Something happened. No. So suppose if background thread wants to, if background it will open it. Background thread wants to send message to him, what he will do? He will first obtain message to get the token. If he does not have any token, basically, suppose if I am having a ticket previously, I booked long back, then no need to get the token, right? So you can send the token basically. So you can create your own message. I mean, what message you want to send, it is up to you basically. Okay, so and after that what will do, he will do send message. As soon as your background thread will do send message, where he will get the handle message, and the callback is your message. I mean, whatever message you are sending here now, if I'll send hi, it will come hi. If I'll tell hello, it will come hello. So this is the way how your background thread will communicate to your main thread. Okay, so let's try to do the example. This one, sending post, using post we will do after some time. First we will do this message, then we will go to post. Okay, it would be, I mean, almost similar to this basically. That's right. To send a message to handler, first invoke obtain message, which will give you some sort of token or message to you. Okay, and what to do after obtain message? What to do? You just use the send message. That's all, the one which we discussed about a little bit earlier. Okay, so these callbacks will discuss. Wait for some time. Let's try to do one practical, then it would be easier for you to understand basically. So what is the practical we want to do? We want to have one progress bar, the same thing what we have done in the last class. What was our task? To show progress bar 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, so that was we have done using async task. Let's try to do the same task using our sending message. How will you do that? Okay, so whenever you want to do, from where you will start? You will start from your screen. So what is the screen? In screen we will create this progress bar. Okay, means you will develop the UI, means XML. Okay, and after that what we will do? We will, so yeah, now we will create one handler here. Okay, whatever handler, then handler will have which message? Handle message. And handler will be running in main thread or background thread? Main thread, always main thread. Handler will be main thread. Okay, yeah, now we'll start one thread. Okay, so tell me this thread, is it a background thread or main thread? Background thread. Okay, so whenever you are doing thread equal to new thread, what is it? This means background thread. Okay, so it will start one background thread. It is best practice to start a thread in on start callback. What is on start? Tell me what is the activity life cycle? On create, then means on create, on start, on resume. Okay, then on pause, on stop, on destroy. Okay, if two activities are there, what will happen? First on create, on start, on resume. Second activity is coming, then what will happen? On pause, on create, on start, on resume. Then it will go to on stop. Okay, if I destroy this, then what will happen? On pause, second activity, on restart, on start, on resume. Then it will go to on stop, on destroy. Got it, right? So it is best practice if you want to start a thread, where we should do on start is the callback basically. Okay, so we'll start one thread here normally. How we do? Okay, and automatically this run method will come. Okay, and here we'll use this same thing. I mean, the one which you have done in the last class. We will have one for loop. Okay, in your async task we were passing 20 data from your execute method. Here we are doing hard coding. I mean, okay, so and we'll sleep for 1 second and we'll send the message. As soon as I'll send the message, where it will go? It will go to your handle message. You will keep on getting the message, whatever message is coming from there. Okay, so let's try to do this task. So what is the task? What are the tasks we want to do? Okay, so same task which we have done earlier in async task, we want to do the same things. Okay, so create an app which shows the progress bar, incremented by 5. Okay, you want to show the progress bar. Using send message. Using send message. Okay, so how will you start this task? Always we start from our XML. So I'll go to my activity main. okay, .xml. We will create progress bar here. Progress bar we will create, okay, and we will use all the style and blah blah blah, whatever things we need, we will do this, okay. If you want to show the progress, you can have text view also here to show it. We'll click on text view, which will show us the progress. Okay, so our view is done. Where will go now? Controller. Who is your controller? Main activity. Okay, so we'll go to main activity is your controller. Okay, in main activity, first what we'll do, we'll go to on create method. Okay, and what to do, we'll go and find view ID. Find view ID over here. Okay, yeah, now we want to create one handler. So how will you create the handler? Handler equal to, it is a class, so how will you do? New handler. Okay, we will override one of the method called, what method? Handle message. What is the method name? Handle message. We will override it basically here. Okay, and what is the parameter which will come here? It will come as a message. Not a message is there, it will come. Okay, so we have created this handler. Now we want to start this background thread. So where will go? We will go to on start. Anyway, it is not mandatory to do from on start, depending upon the requirement. If you want to have one button on click of that you want to start it, that is also fine, no problem. On click of the button you will do same thing. If you have done in the last class, right? So we are calling on dot execute method from on click of the button. Now here you don't want to have that. You want to call from your on start only, means on quit on start the thread. That's what you are doing here. So you can do whenever you want to do that basically. Okay, so on start you want to start this background thread. How to do? Thread equal to new thread. Okay, we will have this runnable, right? So something like new runnable, we'll call it. Okay, inside runnable, what is the method will be there? Tell me. Run is the method which will be there. Same as your core Java thread. Run is the method which will be there, right? Okay, yeah. Now what you want to do? You want to send a message to your foreground thread or maybe main thread. So how to do? You have to have one for loop, something like int I equal to 0. If you want to divide a task into 20 times, then less than 20, means 0 to 19. Okay, and I plus plus means 5 increment I want to do. That's why 20 parts. Okay, so if I want to do 10 increment, then 10. Okay, because 10 into 10 100, right? So this is the way. Yeah, so I got this. Now I want my thread to be slept for 1 second. So now we do thread dot sleep. Okay, I will make it for 1 second. Automatically it will tell you to try catch interrupted exception. Okay, which you have already done. And after that, what you want to do? You want to send message to your foreground thread. Okay, so how will you send the message? Here we will get one method called handler dot, what is method name? Send message. Send message. So whenever you will send message, it will ask for some parameter, right? So if you don't have any message, then how will you do? You can get message something like this. Message equal to, okay, MSG. Suppose MSG is my message. Then what you can do? Handler dot obtain message. Okay, and you will pass this message. So obtain message is nothing but it will give you some sort of tokens to you, so that you can communicate with your handler. Handler means main thread. Okay, yeah. Now one small thing which you have to do is, before starting this thread, what you have to do? we have to, what to do, we have to make our progress bar to 0. By default if it is 20, otherwise it will start from 25, 30. You don't want to do that, you want to start from 0, right? So what to do, you will write progress bar dot set progress. What to do, you make it to 0. We'll make it to 0. Okay, just before starting our thread. Yeah, now what we'll do, we will, as soon as you will do here send message, where message will go, it will go to obtain handle message. Okay, and handle message is run in main thread, so you can do the UI operation, right? So here what to do, you write something like progress bar dot, one of the method is there in progress bar called increment. Okay, so increment progress by how much you want to increment. You want to increment 5, because you have divided into 20 times, right? So we'll increment by 5. Okay, and along with that you want to set it in your text view also, right? So what to do, text view dot set text, and you want to set the text, right? So progress, how will you get the progress? Tell me. Progress bar dot get progress will give you the progress. Okay, and similar to this last class we have done, right? So percentage I will show. Okay, now you will check if progress dot get progress is greater or equal to 100. What does that mean? That means your progress is over. So you can show something like in text view, you can show task is over. I mean, the same way how we are doing in the last class, right? So you can show something like task is over, something like this you can show, similar to the last class which you have done. Means whenever, why I am making it greater, you don't know. I mean, in some case if it might exceed 100, right? So in that case you want to show it, or else you can use equal to also, it will not matter basically. Hey, did you share your CV to one of those mail which I shared? Did you get chance to look into that? In our Facebook group, I shared one place, something like sheila.pawar@greynubo.com. Did you share your CV? You shared, right? So I think they are going to conduct from 22nd, I mean tomorrow to 31st. That's what I mean. You sent a little today, right? So Saturday, Sunday will be off, right? So they will check in. That is for your, I mean, Android and iOS. No, it is running.